Welcome to another edition of the Knudson Garden Update. We are here at the garden. It is the middle of December, and we want to talk about the factors that affect the growth of the plants in our garden. And we're going to talk about three today. Okay, there are a lot of factors that can affect growth, but we're going to talk about temperature, space, and fertilizer or nutrients. Okay, and we're going to start by looking at our luffa, which is being affected by temperature. So let's take a look. So here's our luffa plant, and as you can see, the leaves are starting to dry up. They're turning brown, they're even turning white, okay? And when we look at our luffa gourds, they're starting to wrinkle and even turn a little bit brown. This is in part because they are ripening and the plant is pretty old and mature. But a big part of what's causing our luffa plant to die is temperature. It is getting much colder right now than the luffa plant likes. And when that happens, it can't grow as well. So we are going to start harvesting our luffa gourds pretty soon, okay? And what we're going to do is let them dry and dry and dry, because our luffas are very fibrous on the inside, and as they dry, the fibers will harden, and we can actually use them for sponges and cleaning applications. So our luffa plants pretty close to being ready to clear out. I think I might let some of these luffas dry for another week or so, but temperature is affecting our luffa plant. It likes warm weather, and right now it is just too cold for the luffa. Now, we've talked about our corn before, and looking at our corn, boy, it is pretty dry, and it's not going to do much anymore for us. So we want to plant some more plants that can handle this colder temperature. We're going to want to plant some more carrots and some more lettuce in this bed, but they need space. So in order to give them space and access to sunlight, we're going to have to clear out these corn stalks, because as long as the corn stalks are here, there's not going to be room for our lettuce and our carrots. So we're actually going to cut down these corn stalks so we can make some space for our lettuce and our carrots. And we're probably going to cut this, we're going to clear out this basil as well. It was a nice, beautiful plant, but again, it's taking up a lot of space right now. We're not really going to get much out of it at this point. So we need to make space for our lettuce and our carrots by clearing out these basil plants and the corn. Now, a lot of people have argued that instead of pulling up the corn stalks, we should instead just cut them at the base. So we're going to cut them here, and corn stalks are actually pretty tough when they're nice and mature. So it's kind of hard to cut them off at the base, okay? But there you go. All right, we can see our corn stalk. And we're just going to toss it off here to the side. We're going to go through and we're going to cut some more corn stalks down so that we can free up some space so more sunlight can get to the lettuce and the carrots that we want to grow right now. All right, we've cleared out our corn stalks and opened up a lot more space for a lot more sun for more plants. We even picked up a few more ears of popcorn, and we've made a nice big mess of basil and corn stalks. But we can now plant some more carrots and lettuce here in this bed because we've got some more space and they are going to have access to more sunlight. All right, the last thing we want to talk about is fertilizer. All right, and we're going to talk about fertilizer for our bananas. And we're going to talk about what kind of fertilizer most plants need. Plants need a few major nutrients. They need nitrogen, they need phosphorus, and they need potassium. Sometimes we refer to them as NPK. And for our for our bananas, they need a lot of potassium. So when we look at the fertilizer, it is a 15-5-30 fertilizer, which means that it provides 15% nitrogen, 5% phosphorus, and 30% potassium, okay? And the potassium comes in the form of a compound called potash, which is potassium oxide, okay? And there are a few other nutrients that this banana fertilizer provides. It provides a little bit of magnesium and boron. It provides some copper and iron and manganese and molybdenum and zinc, okay? But what we're going to do is follow the directions here, and we're going to give our banana plant a gallon of water with some fertilizer in it. So for our outdoor banana plant, we just need a teaspoon of this fertilizer to go into a gallon of water. So we're going to take a teaspoon, we're going to mix it into our watering can, and then we're going to mix in a gallon of water, and then we're going to fertilize our banana plant to make sure that it gets all the nutrients that it needs, because even though most of the matter in the banana tree or the banana plant, because bananas are really an herb, come from water and carbon dioxide, they do need a small amount, and as you can see, just 1 teaspoon for a gallon of water. They just need a small amount of certain nutrients to help them to grow, and that's what we're going to provide to our banana with our banana fuel fertilizer. Now, one thing about our banana is that it doesn't really like this cold weather. It can survive. At least we hope it's going to survive. It's pretty strong. But some of the leaves are becoming pretty dry and brown. It's not liking this cold, windy weather. So we're going to hope that we can get it some fertilizer and give it a little help. Give it some more nutrients, because it's a pretty big plant at this point. It's probably sucked up a lot of nutrients from our rich soil, so it needs a few more. And we're going to come over here with our watering can with our gallon of water and our teaspoon of banana fuel. We're going to give it a good shake to make sure it gets all dissolved well. And then we're going to fertilize this banana tree. Give it some nutrients to help it along. We're really just going to focus around the near part of the banana, because there are some other things growing here in our herb garden. But we want to make sure that our banana gets taken care of so that you all can have some bananas, hopefully, at the beginning of, or at the end of the school year. Maybe at the beginning of next school year. We'll see how long it takes to send up a true stem with some real bananas in it. Now this fertilizer is probably going to be good for a good month. And this soil is already pretty rich. But we're just going to give it an extra little dose to help it power through the winter. And as we can see, there are still some nice green, rich leaves that are growing on our banana tree. So I'm not worried about it dying entirely, and we can see, if we look closely, that it is sending up, I don't know if you can see that very well, it is sending up another leaf. It's unfurling one, here we can see this. A little better here. We got this new leaf about to unfurl. But we'll give it a little fertilizer just the same. Alright, so there we go, fertilizing our banana tree. Go blue ice cream banana. Now, one more thing that we're going to talk about, one more factor that affects growth, in addition to space, temperature, and nutrients or fertilizer, is water. And our plants are getting plenty of water from our drip systems, okay? But while they are growing, while they are seedlings, they need the ground to be pretty damp for them to grow. And we can see that we've got some of our kale that is popping up here. They're growing, they're doing okay. But while they're exposed, now that we've cut out some of our corn stalks, they're kind of exposed. The ground's getting kind of dry. I would feel a little bit better if we got just a little more water on here while our seedlings were popping up. So we're gonna add just a little bit more water on the ground here. Keep it a little moist while our kale and broccoli grow and germinate. So there you have it, another episode of the Knudson Garden Update. We talked about factors that affect growth. We talked about temperature, how our luffa plant just does not like the cold. It's gonna die. There's nothing we can do about the luffa plant dying, but we can get some plants like lettuce and carrots, broccoli and kale into our garden that can handle these colder temperatures. Another factor that we talked about was space. So in order to give more space to our carrots and our lettuce and our broccoli and our kale, we cleared out some of our old corn stalks so that our cold weather plants can have some space. We also talked about fertilizer and our banana tree that needs a lot of potassium. And we talked about nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the three main ingredients of a fertilizer, and how our banana fertilizer gets 15% nitrogen, 5% phosphorus, and 30% potassium in its fertilizer pack, and how that's hopefully going to help keep our banana tree healthy and strong and producing hopefully bananas in the spring or summer. And the last thing we talked about was water. And we watered some of our kale and broccoli because the ground's just a little bit dry and we want to keep it a little bit moister while they are germinating. So have a good week, guys. Have a good winter break, and we'll see you soon. Stay safe, wear a mask, stay home.